All right, we're live, guys, so let's do the pledge.
Okay.
Pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the
republic
one nation,
You got visible liberty.
There we go.
Okay, but who can I hear, who can't I hear?
You get, that was.
No.
Okay. All right, so the first thing we've got is the approve the minutes from the town board meeting on April 15th. I'll need a motion.
So move, John.
Yep, second.
Second by John Burchevich. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by voting aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Roll call. Okay, all right, okay. All right, we've got one set of minutes that because of the office staff in my office, thanks, Mark. We don't have our March minutes, which we have to get off the computer, which we'll have for our next meeting. Next, we have Sleepy Hollow Water District. We have to set our public hearing, which would be for June 3rd at 6 p.m. And Mark again will help us set that up so we can have the public hearing. So
Two separate resolutions, one for Sleepy Hollow, one for Sleepy Hollow Extension.
okay. Everybody got that? Do you have any questions about that? We'll have one resolution for one public hearing for Sleepy Hollow, one public hearing for Sleepy Hollow Extension. Jeff, you want to give a report on how well it went for the?
Yeah, I mean, getting the petition signed was actually kind of enjoyable, unusual for petitions, because the residents were so supportive of getting this water district. It's been a long time coming. We've had other opportunities with Salt Springs Road, but now that we're focused back on Sleepy Hollow, they were very aggressive and they wanted to get these petitions signed. So I guess after this public hearing, do we have an idea of when we can release this contractor? Is there kind of an idea of when we could start putting, digging some dirt and getting some water to these folks?
Gonna hold this bid.
He's held his bid, yeah. He's holding
Okay,
his
it's gonna
bid.
be at the number that we have.
Yes,
and
yes,
see stuff,
Yes, yes.
then we'll be able to go with it right away.
So as soon as June 3rd is over, we hold the public hearing. We don't get any opposition. We can start the next step.
As long as they hold that bid.
There you go.
There you go. Very good.
Okay.
So
Good.
I need two different separate resolutions, one for setting the public hearing with the resolution I did for Sleepy Hollow, the regular Sleepy Hollow, and then a second resolution for the extension number one, because I have to file each of these resolutions separate with the comptroller.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Let me control. Wait, maybe we can't go right up the bid on this. We can't go right up the bid. We got to get the comptroller.
Well, he's holding his bid.
At a higher, it's at a higher amount.
It's $50 higher.
Yeah, I'll look at it, but I think we have to get comptroller approval. I'm sorry. I forgot about that. I'll take care of it. Well, we're gonna ask them to do it really quickly, so I'll take a look at it, guys. I'll get it back to you.
Okay, so we still setting the public hearing.
Yeah, oh, you gotta have a public hearing.
So I'll need a motion to set the public hearing for Sleepy Hollow.
I'll move that, John.
A motion by Jeff Martin, second.
I'll second.
Second by Tom Top.
Roll call.
Yeah, is there any discussion?
How many residents just to bring me back up to speed, how many residents does that entail? How many houses?
Yeah, it was about 12 for Sleepy Hollow and actually only 6 for Sleepy Hollow Extension.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so Mr. Ranger,
Aye.
Mr. Martin,
Aye.
Mr. Cobb,
Aye.
Mr. Burchevich.
Yes.
I say yes, so that's carried. Okay, I need a motion for the Sleepy Hollow extension.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Martin, second.
Go get them, Tom.
Oh, I did a second before. You get it.
I'll make it.
Second by Chair Ranger. Is there any discussion? Okay, Councilman Ranger,
Aye.
Councilman Martin,
Aye.
Councilman Cop,
Aye.
Councilman Bruskevich,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Carried. Okay. We have an emergency purchase for the door locking system here at the town. Jeff, you want to give us a rundown on that?
Yeah, we've got an obsolete access control system. I walked through all the doors with Beth this week to take a look at it. One of the suggestions to get upgraded, not only with the controller and it'll give her more control as to when hours and who gets in, but we really need to look at getting rid of magnets. Certainly is a poor setup. It was a setup back in the day, but I've asked Beth to look at getting crash bars on there. It's a more safe system. In that way, no matter what happens with the access control, if there were ever an emergency, you'd be able to get out of the building. So unfortunately, it's a technology that has met its match in time, and it's time to look at getting it updated.
But the way I understand, we're going to keep the magnets. The magnets are going to stay.
They're gonna give you, you got a price already on the mag system.
Okay,
15,000.
yep,
A
yep.
commercial door giving you a price on
Trash
the mag
bars.
system and trash. bars.
Okay, now, so we don't have to get together and do this. Would you guys like to set a parameter on what can be spent on this system?
Sure. I know that we, a while back there, we looked at doing something with a lot more involved, I think. We decided not to do that now and to go with something a little different.
And that was like $90,000 to
Right.
put keyfobs on all the doors and everything else.
Right.
I wouldn't say this would be much more than 25,000 probably. I think that was about right.
That would probably be about right, John. And to put access control on every inside door is just going to be an expense that we don't need as a town, but certainly the exterior, the outside is a great use of access control.
It'd be nice to get this done and taken care of before we have to start do a limited opening or opening back up, get the construction done before we have to do that. So
I agree.
would you guys, what's that?
I agree.
Okay, would you guys want to approve up to 25,000, and if it goes over 25,000, we'll have to convene or I'll get a consensus of everybody, and we'll approve it at the next meeting.
Yes. Will this come out of the economic development money?
Yeah, it's going to have to.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Now, so do you want a motion for that? Okay, so I'll need a motion for that then.
Cost not to exceed 25.
Yeah, cost not to exceed 25,000. If it does, then we'll have to,
Use our procurement policy.
Okay, I've reviewed it. I would make that motion, John.
okay, motion by Jeff, second.
I'll second it, John. We've been talking about it for a while now.
Mhm.
Second by John B. Is there any discussion? Okay, Councilman Ranger,
Aye.
Councilman Martin,
Aye.
Councilman Cop,
Yes.
Councilman Bruskevich,
Yes.
and I'm an aye. Carried. Okay, something else. Budget modification. I don't have that. This is for the GIGP. We have to front this money and get it back from EFC. So we're gonna have to front the 362,000, 380,000, 380,000 in order to get that back. So that puts a cramp on some of the other stuff that we were looking to do, which is fine. We'll discuss that in a little while. But right now we need to transfer $34,500 from contingent A 1990.4 to the engineer's fees of A 8030.460. This is to pay for the Bridgeport GIGP final design services. I did have a lady call me this afternoon or this morning, Carrie, She lives on the North Road on the west side and was concerned about them maintaining the rain gardens, and I told her that would be solely the town's responsibility because it's the town's project. Correct?
Yeah. And then I might have spoke to her. I think she might have called the house and expressed her concerns if it's her last name is Melvin.
That's right. They're in their 70s and they can't take care of it.
Yep.
I
told her I'd personally weed hers, so no, she wouldn't have any problem.
Okay, so I need a motion for the budget modification, please.
I'll make it.
Motion by Carrie, second.
Second, John.
Second by John B. Is there any discussion? Councilman Ranger,
Aye.
Councilman Martin,
Aye.
Councilman Pop,
Aye.
Councilman Berskevich.
Aye.
Would
Carried.
can you take a minute? Can you take a minute just to have Andy? He went through some stuff with the Barton LaJudas as far as on-site meeting they're going to have next week. Maybe he could give us some insight if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Yeah, Beth was in on them as well. But we had a few meetings, but basically, obviously the bid came in quite well. And I don't think we're gonna have any problem contributing our 10% in labor and trucking. Probably a majority will be trucking and obviously an operator, in the truck. So we're gonna use FEMA numbers, and those numbers are actually pretty good. So we'll have to do a lot of documenting, but I'm up to date with the FEMA stuff just because of some of the reimbursements that we've done before. We're also going to utilize the PubWorks for everything as well. So I think they want to start as soon as possible, but to think in the middle of May, if everything is aligned and the contracts go through.
It looks like they've already marked it out up there for dig safely. Is that the case, Andy?
Yes. Yep. They've been up there surveying and marking it out.
Okay, good.
There was only one other question was the, I don't know if Carrie spoke with the church or not, but I believe if we get permission, something in writing from the church that when we remove the sidewalk, then we can also use that towards our 10% as well. But they have to basically give us, I think, either an easement or just some type of letter stating that we have permission to utilize the property for this project.
Okay.
I could use a little help on that from John Lange. Just tell that I need that worded, and I would happily deliver it to them and get a signature. But I just want to make sure it's worded properly to protect, both parties.
I'll have to get more specific detail on it after the meeting. We'll get it tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
And Carrie, I'll draft up something for you to present.
Yes, sir.
So if that's drafted up, then we can, the girls at the state that we talked to, I don't know if we should send something over to them first just to approve it. But they said once we get that in line, to get that to them, and then they'll get approval from their supervisor. So.
Good.
Okay. Andy, you got anything else for us that you want to talk about while you're on?
We're paving in Lakeport. Also Marshmill Road, we're doing half of that. We started that Monday, milling. They started paving today. Other than that, everything's going well. Everybody's behaving themselves and doing a good job of self-distancing. We don't have a break room or anything like that. And so I think everything there as well. I don't know if you guys have questions.
Anybody got any questions for Andy? No? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep.
All right. Take it. Yep.
So our evening numbers for this afternoon call that I had for the county is we have tested total 1,780 people. We have 257 positives, 1,402 negatives, 121 pending, 128 recovered, and we've had 6 deaths, 110 mandatory quarantines, 410 people have completed mandatory quarantine. I can report that Oneida Healthcare tested everybody in their senior facility, ECF, not a single positive in that building. That's a credit to them. There he is, John. We have an issue with the greenhouse workers, not the greenhouse itself, the greenhouse workers. We knew we had an issue, and the health department decided to, along with the state, I talked to the governor's office last week, to test everybody at the greenhouse and both of the hotels. And with that, this is why we've gotten a spike at the county. But without testing everybody, we wouldn't know who had it. Everybody that we tested was asymptomatic. That means they didn't have any symptoms. And we got 70 positives so far out of that. And now they're in quarantine. Without that, those 70 people would have been walking around, going to the grocery store, going to here, there, and everywhere. Now we've got a handle on it. And they're quarantined in both of the hotels. It's a work in progress. As I said yesterday, our emergency management people at the county are trained for fires and floods and tornadoes and snowstorms, but nobody is trained for 2.5 months of COVID-19 and, you know, further on than that. So we're doing the best we can. We've only got a limited amount of people at the county health department. They're doing all the tracing and tracking and the investigation on who these people have come in contact with. They're doing a good job. So that's the report from there. Does anybody have any questions on that at all?
Will you need more manpower in that direction as far as testing and or I'd say more researching? You know, if you got a person that's infected. Yeah.
Eric's got a pretty good handle on it so far because it's the workers from the greenhouse and the ones that are housed at the hotels. They're there. They really don't interact too much. They go back and forth from work to the hotel. They do go to the store, so it'll be a limited investigation with them. It isn't like a regular person that gets in their car and drives all over the place and, you know, visits their family and everything else. So he seems to have a handle on it. He says he does. So I got to go by what he says. So, I had a phone call with Ryan McMahon today, working with him in Oswego County to try to meet the metrics of what the governor set up. We're going to have to do 2,200 tests, and that's going to be tough for us to be able to meet that metric because we're a rural county, and at some point we're going to quickly run into not having enough people to test. So we're asking the governor's office right now, okay, what happens when we run into this? What do you guys want to do? And the governor's kind of throwing out some conflicting information, so we're trying to disseminate that. Tomorrow morning, I've got a phone conference with the Department of Health at the state and our folks at the county. I imagine it's about the greenhouse, but that seems to be pretty much under control. So, okay, yep. Everybody good?
Yep.
All right. Do you guys have anything else while we're in public?
I got a couple things.
Okay.
Talk with just general information here. Talk with Mary Egger today, and she said that everyone is going to receive an absentee application ballot for the voting for this year. June 23rd, of course, we all know it'll be the primary. It'll be for the Assembly Democrats and the presidential Democrats. And then we'll have a primary for Congress between Claudia Tenney and George Phillips. The village elections will be September 15th, which just kind of surprised me. They didn't combine them all together, but so they were put off from March until September 15th. Mayor Elizabeth Martin wants to have a meeting tomorrow with a few people, including myself, to see what we can do to help any of the businesses in town here, or have a program for them to reach out to them. And she was wondering if, if the town had anything, any thinking along those lines. Check with the fire departments. They all were good, except Howie just wanted me to go over with you, John, about what we talked about at our meeting, increasing the 3,000 to 5,000 in the purchasing. Do you remember that? I want to know if you talk with Beth about it.
Yeah, the procurement policy.
Yeah, procurement. Yeah. Yeah.
They have to follow the policy.
Right,
you
so
have
we-
to adopt a new
So
policy.
we can change that policy. We can change that policy to 5,000 from 3,000.
For the whole town? Or just for the fire folks?
We can do it for just the fire department. We can do it for the whole town.
I mean, you can do a subcategory for fire, I guess.
Yeah, we'd have to revisit the whole policy.
Yeah.
Review the policy.
But we're just gonna change that number. That's all we're gonna do. From 3,000 to 5,000, because the stuff they're buying is more expensive.
I just want to know if it's for everybody or just for the fire department
We can just do it for the fire department because we haven't run into a problem with anybody else.
or procurement policy.
We'll just state right now, 3 to
It's
5,000,
3,000,
they got in three braces.
Right.
Public Works is segregated out in the policy, if you want to segregate the fire, special section for the fire.
We'd have to do that, right?
Okay. So that's just a simple motion and we can do that.
Yeah,
Make it
we
5,000
got
to
this by
7,000.
resolution, yeah. We can do that.
Okay, so Tom, you want to make that motion and we can change that
Yes, I will.
from 3 to 5,000?
5,000 procurement, yes, policy for the fire departments only.
Tom's made the motion to move our procurement policy from $3,000 to $5,000 for the fire departments only. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Ranger. Is there any discussion on it?
I assume this is all just because of higher costs, John, and I mean,
Yeah, it was
is
those
it really a
fans-
problem?
It was the fans that they bought and there was something else they bought. It was a hose or
They just,
something.
yeah, and they just had work done on one of the trucks, and the bill was like $5,500. So it's not jumping to that policy. John Morgan's over $3,000 on one of the bills to be charged for something, so instead of purchasing.
It's disease for them is what it is.
Okay.
Okay, so, Councilman Ranger,
Aye.
Councilman Martin,
Aye.
Councilman Cop,
Aye.
Councilman Bruskevich. Councilman Bruskevich?
John?
We need to do something.
Yeah, I don't know.
When we get through with that, I have another question in regards to Tom's stuff they brought up.
Well, we lost John again. You got chipped in by him with the computer. So what, connection?
I can ask the question without him. It's not a big deal. The Tom mentioned, if there's anything that he's gonna meet with
Local business.
Elizabeth Bo Martin. You gotta say the whole thing. I know. In regards to helping some local businesses, would we ever want to consider like that? The money's like in that revolving loan, or to try to. I know it's not a lot of money in there, but I mean, I don't know if that would help or hurt, or is it even possible?
Right, because that's the rules of, it. You gotta create employment and then pay it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets going on a lot of things. As far as Chittenango goes, I know there's a number of businesses here. I don't think we've had any people reach out or anything like that, or I haven't heard any rumors of people going out of business. Phil Teague is able to, the accountant in the village here, he's able to help people getting that with that PPP and the CARES and any of that government project. He's able to help people. So I checked with him and he said that we could recommend him if any of the businesses need help in filling out paperwork and things like that. But I don't think we should get too involved in it. And I think they'll handle, most of them will handle it in their own way.
Okay, John Burchett, are you okay with the changing the procurement policy for the fire departments? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, all right, and I'm an aye. Okay, that's carried. I put together a task force at the county. And right now we had a meeting today. It's guidance and toolkit for workplace recovery here in Madison County. We're going to use the governor's guidance as a guide. The 15th, which is next week, next Friday. It'll be manufacturing, some other, like elective surgeries are already being done, and some other things. It's people from different sectors, agriculture, construction, giving us guidelines on how they feel they can go back to work. And we'll present the plan to the governor's office and they'll let us know if we can go back to work. Our auto dealers, all of our auto dealers here in Madison County, in conjunction with Onondaga County, are able to sell cars by appointment, which is going to help us with our sales tax, vehicle registrations, that kind of thing, which is good for us. Next week, we'll try to roll the rest of this out. It's like a three-phase plan, and we really don't get up and running till almost July 1st, back to normal if there is a new normal. So, all right, Tom, you got anything else?
No, hair salons and things like that are still stretched, still.
They'll probably wind up being last on the list from the looks of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We lost Dick Sullivan, of course, a couple days ago, and Mark Pooley. So I think we should, keep them in our thoughts.
Yep. Everybody. We have a young lady who works at the county. Her grandmother passed away down in New York City, and she didn't get to see her. They didn't get to go see her at all in her last days or anything like that. So it's a horrible thing. Horrible thing.
Absolutely.
On a brighter note, we had the milk and hand sanitizer and mask and potato giveaway between the school, the town, the county, the food cupboard, food pantry in Chittenango, all kinds of volunteers. It went very well. I got a case of hand sanitizer for Terry Manning from BLCO. He's going to hand it out to folks down there that they could use it, seniors that can't get out or anything like that. The food pantry in Chittenango is putting together meals every day and taking them to folks that are shut in, which is a great thing. I actually think that's probably better than having the drive-through giveaways. I think that targets folks that are truly in need and could use this stuff. But we gave away 4,000 bottles of hand sanitizer, 1,500 masks, 500 gallons of milk, and 500 bags of potatoes, and 460 little LED lanterns that emergency management had. We gave them away also. So it was a successful day. Thank you to everybody involved. It worked out well. Okay, does anybody have anything else before we go into executive session? John has presented a plan for the parks. They're mowing right now and trimming, keeping the park maintained. But right now we've got no programs going on. I don't see us getting any programs to go on right now. I think we'll need to talk some in executive session about what we're going to do there. Of course, the highway, they are back working. Andy worked out a plan. I got him the PPE that he needed. I went over each morning. They're working staggered shifts. I went over each morning, went over everything with our employees at the highway department. They were receptive, told them what they had to do, and they seem to be doing it okay. So things are going along well there.
Good.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay, I will need a motion to go into executive session for advice of counsel.
So move, John.
Motion by Jeff Martin, second.
Second, John.
Second by John B. Is there any discussion? Councilman Ranger, Councilman Martin,
Aye.
Councilman Kopp,
Aye.
Councilman Bruskevich,
Aye.
and I. So, okay, so we're gonna go into executive session.
Get out of YouTube.